Good evening to everyone. So we just want to welcome all of you to the Enterprise Wednesday series number 2. So today we actually have a very special guest with us. So let me welcome our participants which are on the online and also physical with us today. So we just want to welcome you, to the session for today. So today we actually have Dato Seri Lim Yong Seong. He's actually from the owner and founder of Jati Tinggi Holdings Sdn Berhad. He himself, is an engineer, by profession. He started his journey as an engineer and he ended up today as an entrepreneur. So his vast knowledge and also experiences, that he has will be wonderful, to be shared with us today. So he will actually share with us in terms of how do engineers actually embrace innovation, creativity, and also entrepreneurship. So just want to remind, for some of the audience which are physically with us, Dato Sri will be sharing some slides with us, but you need to actually tune in into the YouTube or the Facebook Live in order to see the slides. Okay, so we just want to pass the time, to Dato Sri, if he wants to do a quick introductions of himself, sharing his journey, from an engineer to an entrepreneur, and what are the challenges, that he faced, along the way as well. All right, so Dato Sri, welcome.
Thank you, Prof. Hi, everyone. I'm Lim. Okay, can we put up the slide, please? Okay. Today I'm going to briefly share to all of you about my journey. Okay. First thing, about my background. Myself, my father is a carpenter. My mom is a housewife. I come from a very, very normal family. In fact, from a very poor family. During my secondary school time, my parents even find very hard to give me 50 cents a day to go to school to buy my lunch. So, well, I study in normal government school, okay, from primary to secondary. And then I have my Form 6 in Tar College. And then I went to Inti College for my first 2 years American program. And lastly, I have my degree, engineering, civil engineering in South Dakota State University, USA. And myself, I involved in extracurriculums a lot during my school days. And I was the president for Chinese Language Society, the vice president for St. John Ambulance, and so many. But I'm very poor in my sport. Okay. I worked for others for 5 years. At the age of 30, I start my own business. And in year 1996, civil engineering degree, I obtained it in South Dakota State University, USA. Today, I'm going to share to you my real life story about bolt and nuts. Okay, we are engineers. What is the major problem for bolt and nuts? You can see on the slides. When it is under vibration condition, the nuts will loosen by itself. So it is very dangerous to the machine, to the vehicle, or to the structure when the bolt and nuts is under a vibration condition. So in real life, what is the application for bolt and nuts? This is railway. You see the sleepers and the rail. The tool which is holding the tool is the fastener. When the fastener fail, what will happen is like this. And the train derail. Accident happened. Another example. What you can see here is a transmission tower for electricity. high tension transmission tower. All the members is held together by bolt and nut. When the bolt and nut fail, you see the things collapse. In Malaysia, in 1980s, there's a major breakdown. The whole country don't have electricity. What happened? Yes, because some drug addicts steal the steel, stolen guardrails. This is very common in Malaysia, whereby the drug addicts steal the packer, which hold the post and the rail. When this happen, when accident happen, it cannot withstand the force and the vehicle will drop into the valley. So over here, I want to do a small experiment. It's about a boat that I discovered from Taiwan.
That's good, Dato Sri. So maybe we can get my co-moderator, Jeremy, to be your experiment for today. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Okay, gentlemen, this is a. Can we have the camera on the stage, please? They have to switch the camera. Yeah. All right. So Jeremy, this is a washer.
Yeah.
This is a bolt. I'm going to screw the washer to this metal with a bolt. You all can see, right? I'm not David Copperfield. I'm not a magician. I just lock it with my hand like this. Okay. Then I pass it to Jeremy. Can you open
well,
it?
Jeremy, that's good. Being a strong young man, let's try to take it out.
Impossible.
Impossible, right?
Yeah.
I pass you a socket. This is a socket. Can you please open it again?
Harder, harder. Come on, Jeremy. I think you can do it. Just a little bit more harder. Can you actually take out the nut and the bolt?
Still cannot.
Can't. Yeah.
Well, actually, gentlemen, ladies, this is a very beautiful invention from my friend in Taiwan. Okay, right now I have a special socket. This socket, there's two key. I'm going to insert the two key up to the washer. Okay, now you try.
That's easy, isn't it?
So why this happened? So I discovered this back in year 2008. I feel so excited because to me, this is such an innovative, beautiful innovation. A simple washer, a simple bolt, but it is anti-vibration, anti-loose. And if you modify a bit, it becomes anti-theft. So let's have I continue with my slide, please. Over here, it explains why this happened. You can see the bolt and the surface in blue color. When we want to so-called lock the bolt, we must create a rough surface between the bolt and the surface to prevent the movement of the bolt. Okay. But then, how does my friend did it? Because in nature, we cannot have the bolt with the surface in a controlled environment. So what they did is they create a washer, and this washer act as an agent to create the asperity, meaning to say the rough surface, to to make sure that the bolt is not moving. I give you a closer look. This is the bolt and the washer just now. What you can see is the bolt. Underneath the bolt, there's some profile. This profile actually stop. It work coupled with the washer. The washer have two surface. The top one, the first one, is the one who matched to the both, and the second washer is the bottom of the washer got 6 line. The 6 line actually act like a knife. It will eat into the surface of the aluminum. So when these two work together, it won't move. So I become so excited when I got this product. What I do is I want to become a businessman. Quickly, I get the distributorship from my friend in Malaysia. And then I have my sales kit. I do the catalogs, PowerPoint, price list, reseller price list. I employ workers to work in the store to do the packaging, so many things. And I find reseller, the northern, the southern, the eastern, and do marketing promotion. And guess what? You know, over the 3 years, I go to Plus. In Malaysia, Plus is the concession holder
Highway,
for the
yeah.
highway. Okay, because they have so many guardrails. I went to municipal for Subang Jaya. I went to uh, Kuala Lumpur Municipal. I go to authority for the highway. I went to railways company
Yep.
KTM. This is Propel is the maintenance company
Yep.
for the highway in Malaysia. I went to Petronas. I go to TMB. TMB is the electricity company.
Yep.
I went to work
Ministries.
ministry.
Yep.
Everywhere I go. Guess what? How is my business? My business failed.
Dato Sri,
2010.
why? Yeah, it's like
Business
such a
failed.
it's such a wonderful piece of like invention and
Yes.
innovations.
Yes. But how come? It
Why?
failed. By engineer way of saying, the cost is larger than the revenue. I
See.
cannot cover my costs. When I employ people, I have my overhead on my storage, packaging, my so-called marketing fee, promotion fee, everything. But I simply cannot have the enough sales, enough revenue to cover my costs. So I stop for a while and I rethink. I'm an engineer. So I know one thing. If you want to do a business, you must find the pain point of your customer. On this picture, we call it a link box, earth cable link box. It is used to cancel off the eddy current of the power cable. Okay, what is the problem for this? Rusted. It looks like very weak. The door can be simply open. Correct? People can steal the copper bar inside, and which is true. In our company, the drug addicts like this one very much because they can open up the case and steal the copper bar and sell for a couple of ringgits. But what happened to the distribution system of the electricity? Interrupted. The cable will get heated. So what I did, you see, earth cable link box. The problem here is rusted, easy to get stolen, can be damaged when hit by a car. Okay. So we designed something to replace this. Okay. Still, I'm going to use the bolt and nut. We invented something called precast reinforced concrete anti-theft link box. I simplified the word called ATL, anti-theft link box. So the prototype was installed at Pasir Gudang, Johor, the southern part of Malaysia, and Bukit Beruntung, Selangor. Okay, on 11 and 31st of March 2011. Okay, so many years ago. I share with you all how is the process. What you see on the picture here, The right side is actually the stolen link box. People already taken away all the copper bar. Okay. On the left side, we are going to install our prototype. Okay. First, we level the base, and after that, we put 2 precast slab at the bottom. Then we lift up the link box. This link box is 450 kg.
Wow.
Okay, 450 kg. And then we place it on the concrete slab just now. After that, we join the earth cable into the link box. Okay. After that, we terminate the earth cable into the link. Okay. Finally, we level it. You see, half of the link box is underneath the earth, and another half is exposed. So over here, you can see, I give a training. I never teach them how to open up this link box, and this is the actual happened in 2011. During then, I was quite handsome, I think, but now I'm not so.
Now still handsome.
You see, this guy is so tough.
Yeah.
He try, and try.
But still can't open.
Yes.
So how do they open then?
Yeah. You see, using the correct socket without a proper training, still this cannot open.
That is like what exactly Jeremy did just now, using the socket, you know?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
See, gentlemen, ladies, the application of the bolt and nut is still, I use the same bolt and nut in this product, the link box. Our customer no longer need to buy a padlock. They just use the bolt and nut to screw it. Until today, this one is still maintained intake. Nobody can open.
Is that your first customer that when you spoke to about your pain point, do you go back to the same customer on the
Yeah.
pain point?
They already start buying the product from us.
Okay.
So I give up. You see the guy say, I give up. Okay. This one is a successful trial. After we share to them the correct socket and a proper planning, you see, it's so simple.
How long do they take to actually open one nut? What was the highest Olympic record?
They were complaining to me last time. I don't put so many nuts. Just put one enough. One, we also suffer like hell. They said, no, actually, after they got the right training, probably within 30 seconds.
20 seconds.
30 seconds, they
30
can open it.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is a success story. I think I have one slide before. Okay. Well, this product has finally been accepted by the client's technical committee in 2018. And then it has been proven for anti-theft, anti-corrosion, and anti-crush functions.
Okay.
And you can see on this photo, this is in Penang. In Penang, they have widely used this product because of Penang is an island.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We know the sea water is salty, corrosive, and this one really become very useful for my customer. You can see this. And so in conclusions, be creative when finding solution. Simplicity is a beauty. Engineers should always find a better solution to solve the problems and commercialize the solution if possible to recover the investment in R&D.
Well, that is
Um,
very wonderful, to say that, Dato
yeah.
Sri, coming from a very humble kind of a beginning.
Uh,
Yeah. So we just want to remind, our audience, in the online and also in the physical. All right. You can always type your question for those which are online, type your question into our chat box so that our team, will be able to pick out the questions. And then after that, we will actually open up the Q&A to those which are physical as well. All right. But I think we're pretty sure that we have a few excited. I think Jeremy is excited to ask a couple of questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a few questions here. So first, I will interested about what makes you go into startup after 5 years of working.
Yeah, I'm interested to know as well, Dato Sri. Coming from a comfort zone, that you're getting every month a paycheck, into your, bank account, and then telling our students now, how, is that big decision, that you can make?
well, probably during the school days, I was very active in extracurriculum,
Mm,
and I'm an extrovert person.
yeah.
I don't like to stay in the office all the time and to
Okay.
try myself all the possibilities.
Mm,
To me, sky is the limit, and whatever our currently the Tesla boss.
yeah.
What's
Elon
the name?
Musk. Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Does Elon Musk birth certificate stated that he cannot do the outer space business? No, right?
No.
So same like us. All of
Yeah.
us actually we can try
Mm,
anything.
Yeah. Only
Yeah.
the sky is our limit, right?
Yes. Yes.
okay.
Mhm.
So you need to be brave.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, nothing to be afraid. My brother used to share with me, in Malaysia, when we take our driving license, you have to go up to a hill
Yeah.
and you have to adjust the pedal between the oil and the brakes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And if you feel worried, the car will still come down. So
Yeah.
no need to be worried. Just move forward. Okay.
Maybe you can put the slides off.
Yeah.
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 Mm.
Okay. So maybe you have a next question, Jeremy?
Yeah. My
Yeah.
second question is, what is your opinion on choosing between work for others and
Mm.
straight away start up after graduate? I believe a
Oh,
lot of students will be interested in this.
this is a very interesting question.
Yeah.
Like Bill Gates, he's a dropout from Harvard.
Yeah.
There's no definite answer. But to me, if let's say you have some good products, make sure that it solve the pain points of your potential customers.
Mm,
Even though we have very wonderful products like this bolt and nuts, but if you never address the the pain point of the customer, you cannot sell. Of
yeah.
course, working with others, there's advantage as well.
Mm,
Why? Because in the real world, probably people already have their office system,
mm,
their SOP, their compliance to the local laws, everything.
mm,
We went there, we learn. And when we start up our own business, then the chances to fail is lower.
mm,
But anyway, no matter which direction, there's no definite answer.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay, my follow-up question for your answer just now is, do you think we should get an experience from working first before start up?
Yeah. What do you think? That's a
Well,
very tough question, though.
I'm an engineer. I will
Yeah.
talk about probabilities as well. Whenever we do anything, just to make sure that the chances to success is higher than the chances to get failed, correct?
Yeah.
In order to make sure that we have higher chance to get success, we have to learn how
Mm.
people fail.
Mm,
So by working with others, probably we can see more, then we can improve. My
okay.
suggestion should be like this.
Okay.
Okay.
I get it.
Coming from an accountant like myself, yeah, Dato Sri, I've noticed that when you're presenting your slides, you actually have 7 years of gap, from the point that when you failed to the point that you found a solution through talking to your customers in terms of understanding their pain point. How did you survive your cash flow in that 7 years?
Yes, it's a good question. I'm a person that I like to try. I have so many businesses that fail, seriously, and I have couple of business make it. So those business who can survive actually is supporting my other businesses.
I see.
But in business, I always say this way, ABC, 70, 20, 10. 70% is our current business. 20% is our supporting business. And 10% probably is our new business. But don't underestimate. The 10% will anytime take over the whole business in terms of their performance.
Yeah.
So that's why we must keep trying, right?
Never give
Yeah.
up. That's good. So
Never
to
give
our
up.
audience, we never give up, okay, and continue, to strive on, right? Despite, any challenges of the conditions, that we are in as well. That's very interesting to hear that as well.
Yeah.
All right. So I think maybe we want to take a couple of questions, from the floor. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. You want to start with the first one?
Okay. So here we have a question which is, how do you change your engineer mindset into entrepreneur mindset?
Wow. um,
Engineers are very straight, right? You
Yeah.
have to cannot be looking at one directions, and I think entrepreneur looks at every opportunities, right?
yes.
So how do you change?
Well, when I answer it in this way, I have many friends who are involved in R&D. All of you know that R&D actually spend lots of money, try and error, okay, and they never stop trying, even though they have a good product like this, they will still continue to
Yeah.
research. This is where I realized that, oh, this is not good enough. Who is going to pay your paycheck end of the month?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So eventually, we need to market it to make our business survive. So in this case, then I realized that business minded is quite important. But nevertheless, being engineer, we should solve the problem first. By giving the solving the problem, we give value to the
Yeah.
customer. In return, we gain something from that for the survival of our business.
But that's going to be interesting. How do you learn entrepreneurial skills by understanding how does the books in the
yeah.
accounts looks like? How do you know your cost and revenue? Coming from a very engineering kind of a background.
To be frank, during my secondary Form 5,
Mhm.
I don't know what am I going to be. It's my brother who advised me
Yeah.
to take up some technical course like engineering, so that in the future, at least I'm competent in some area, make a living. But when come to this real world, I feel like, well, beside engineering, there are many things we can learn. Okay, such as setting up a company,
Yeah.
learning how to control the cash and the cash flow,
Yeah.
and then how to manage people, how to make sure the efficiency is high enough for the survival of your company. There are many things beside the engineering itself. So I'm so much like it. That's why I come into this business world.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Everything is next
From
question.
this, got one question related to this is, I saw that your profile you take an MBA. Do you think that MBA though helps in your career in
MBA, we
entrepreneurship?
call it mentally below average. Uh, this is what we used to call it. Okay, I'm a master degree in business administration. Okay, yes. In fact, I like MBA class a lot, whereby all the basic tools for us to do our analysis in our business is being taught in MBA class. Okay, it is very helpful to me.
Okay. So we should also take MBAs
One day,
Yeah, one day.
In fact, for information, like some of the big company in Malaysia, if you would like to become senior personnel in the
Mm.
company, you must possess an MBA degree.
To be in
Ah.
their top management.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I think there's another one very interesting question about your handsome, younger days. You want to take that, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Mm.
So this person say, "Good evening, sir. With all the amazing experience that you have, what will you say to your younger self when starting out?"
Let's say if you're going back time, given a time zone, to go back, what would you think?
It's a very good question. Um, I will talk to my younger
So,
me. Say, you're awesome. You're so good. You're so brave. Where do you get the courage to become so entrepreneurial? And but put it this way: when I started my business, I told myself, what is the worst scenario could be happen to me? I said, probably I become a tuition teacher. I'm not going to be too bad.
yeah.
Because I know what's the worst scenario I can be.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of any things that going to happen.
Mhm.
Okay. Related to this, do you think brave is the main characteristic that you need to have to be an entrepreneur, or is there any other characteristic that you think we should equip with?
Not only brave. In Chinese proverb, we say you must be brave, but you must think very detailed.
Detail oriented.
Very detail oriented, and we must know the big direction. What is the target? We must be target orientated,
Visionary.
visionary. Yes, we must know what we want to achieve. Then only we'll know. Otherwise, we'll be so much busy with the very small, tiny things. We've forgotten that where is our directions.
That's why we say sometimes when we see too much on the trees, we forgot about the forest, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, I think there's another question which is quite interesting as well. It's asking you from your perspective, innovation and invention. Well, quite challenging. Which is more important? They are very different.
Mm.
Yeah. So what do
Pro-
you think?
Innovation and inventions.
Yeah. Which is more important, or are they different?
Yes, of course, it's different. By the word
Mm.
itself, it's different.
Or you
Uh,
choose both.
I don't have a right answer on the spot. To me, invention is something that you have an end product.
Mm.
Innovative is a behavior you should have.
Mhm.
You should always think out of the box. Whenever you're given a problem set, you must know how to solve it. Not necessarily with the parameters in front of you. Think out of the box. Being innovative. Inventions is something like this. This is an invention by a very
Yes.
clever person, Mr. Ling.
Yeah.
Yeah, your good friend.
Yeah, my good friend.
So how do you actually look at a different perspective? How can you look at how you take this innovation or invention into the next step? How do you see? We talk about the Death Valley, all right, in terms of the invention and innovations. When you move from the technology readiness level, from like 1, 2, and 3, and it crosses into 8 and 9, 10, where the industry will takes it. So how do you see that, transition?
Well, it's um, again like my bow and nut business.
Mhm.
It took me about 8 to 9 years to get the accreditation from the customer
Mhm.
to be accepted as their product. Um, it is not a definite. In engineer way, we say it's not a linear progressions, whereby you do this, definitely you get this. No, it is so irregular. Okay.
So it's a lot of uncharted waters as well, right? That you have
Exactly.
to take the risk and walk through.
So my way of doing is whenever I want to invest, I will study very very carefully about the cost, how much the risk I can take.
Mm.
Higher than that, I rather not to.
So you do your own risk assessment as well
Yes,
from every
yes,
project and every
yes.
inventions that you have. I know that I hear that you have many others. This is
No,
just
no.
one of the nuts
Yeah.
and the bolts story, but he has many inventions. Okay, that he's very humble. That he can share in the next round. All right, I think there's another questions that Jeremy want to share out.
Okay, this is a question about how much money did you lose during the first failure of the business?
Oh, during then, I'm having a very small company, but the money that I lose is couple hundred of
Mhm.
thousands,
100,000.
couple hundred of thousands.
Oh,
That's why it's quite hurtful. That's why when starting a business, must be very, very careful.
But sometimes we also tell the students that you want to fail, you fail cheap, and you will fail fast.
I will put it as the frog symptoms,
Mhm.
whereby you do not become the frog in the boiling water.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
mm,
correct. Mm.
must know when to jump out. Yeah.
Mhm.
okay.
So
So
were your cost actually less than revenue after you selling to the client, or is it that you have improvised some of the and how you have come up with the improvise? How do you see that transition of the gap?
Um. Okay. Like what I say, back in 2010, I
Mm.
incur loss. But after that, when I started with the link box,
mm,
I actually sell a solution rather a product.
yeah.
Mm.
Okay, and then it is considerable easier for me to
Mm,
recover the whatever loss I made.
Mhm.
Until today, it's not 100% recovered, but at least I feel satisfied.
with the value you create.
Yes.
Mm, okay.
Okay. I think we have a very tough question for you. You want to read it out?
Okay. So this is about may I know how you manage to approach large corporation like TMB to request a presentation of your products, and does physical networking still crucial in this digital era?
Yes. Basically, we must know what is the pain point of the customer first. Okay.
Mhm.
Say, for example, my customer, they are suffering from theft issue, vandalism issues,
Mhm.
okay, on their asset, which they put beside the road, link box, filler pillars, and all this. They need a solutions. So they do have some departments who taking care to develop, to do
Mhm.
research to develop some products. So we being a private entities, we write to them and we ask them for presentations. So we do a prototype, we install it, and given 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, we prove it that the product is useful. After that, probably the organization will write a technical paper to that technical committee.
Mm.
This will happen no matter in what kind of big company like TMB Malaysia, Petronas, all is the same. Telecom Malaysia is the same. So their technical committee adopt this product,
Mhm.
then this product can be used in their whole systems.
But how do you actually seize that, by convincing, the pain points, but after you have understanding the pain point of a customer, how do you convince your first customer to actually buy your product, which it is still at the prototype level? When most of the big companies, like the TMBs will ask you, so what is your track record? So when you don't
Very
have
good
a track record,
questions.
you see,
Yeah, very good questions. My two prototypes in Bukit Beruntung and Johor, these two locations is FOC, free of charge. So I did the prototype for several years. There's no income, no incomes. Then after that, wrote a letter to them saying that based on this date, we already have my prototype installed,
Mhm.
and this is today, which is how many years?
Mm.
And it's proven that there is no vandalism and the system, the product is working well,
Mm.
and therefore we ask for a negotiation and purchase from your side. This is what we do.
But how do you actually, how long does that take, for you to tell them or convince your client when you
Oh,
say years, right? From the
yeah.
point that your prototype to your first contract. How
Mm.
many years was that?
Some is 1 year, some is 2 years, some is 3 years.
Mhm.
You know, it's depend on the urgency and the importance
Mhm.
at the customer side. If it is very important and it is very urgent, they will do the acceptance earlier.
Mhm. So I guess the other questions that student ask you, because you see that and you have failed a couple of times, and you said that you failed couple of like companies, not everybody wants to say that as well, but it's good enough to say. But
Yeah.
how do you pivot, when you are not successful in certain areas? So how do you pivot? How do you divert, from where you were?
Well, not all the story got a good ending. So some of the
Yes.
business, when it fails, I really have to scrap it.
Mhm.
You know, like this product, this bow and nut, I really see it is a very, very beautiful product. That's why I'm very keen in it. I still feel I want to continue.
Mhm.
Uh, that's why that makes me continue with some innovations
Mm.
on it and become a solution for the customer.
Mhm.
See.
Okay. So shall we take the questions, from the floor? If there's any questions, maybe we take the questions from the physical audience as well. Yep. Go ahead.
Hello, hello.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can. Thank you. You want to?
Actually, I'm curious about how can we get the connection with the TM, with the KTM. This all like big company contact. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you approach the big companies?
Well, all the big companies also consist people, right? It's not the company, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry. Just go to their organization chart on the web. Who you want to contact? Either it's technical department, operational department, maintenance department, whichever. That or IT. Okay. In IT also you have security department, communication department, so many, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it depends what you want. So you search and write email to them. If you know somebody who are working in that company, just call them one by one. It's just like a door, one by one. It will open to you.
So in the end, it's still a personal touch and the
Not really.
and the relationship that you actually build as well.
Not really, because if
Mhm.
I will always say this word, that let the product speak by itself. Okay.
Mm.
If you have a lousy product, you cannot use the personal connections. Correct.
Yeah.
It still let the product speak by itself.
Yep. Next
Actually,
question.
Dato, I have another question. Yeah.
Yes.
How can you prove you have this product to the company but not show them your product? How do I say?
Do you
Mean-
build a MVP, like
yeah.
minimum viable product, or how do you actually show them without telling them, or somebody takes away your ideas, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this one talking about copyrights, patents. Yeah, we do need to do some protection on our intellectual properties. Okay, we need to. So we have to engage lawyer to do some patent
search.
writing.
Mhm.
Okay, and then register it. I have a patent search, register it, and but then your question should be answered in this way, whereby if let's say I only have a concept,
Mm.
can I approach my customer? Correct. It depends on which industry. If you talk about Grab car, Uber, when you talk about that, people will be very, very hard to imagine.
Yep.
Correct? Until you did it. For myself, like the link box, if we talk about that, people will have very hesitate to accept a new idea. The previous link box, the weight is about 50 kg. Mine is 450 kg. They say in terms of storage, in terms of so many things, it's so impossible. But then again, you need time to prove it. So it depends what type of products.
I think that is why another question online that's also asked similar. So how would you advise students, after engineering, to go into exploring into your entrepreneurial kind of areas, that you think that is works?
Oh, it's a good question. I think the attitude is very important. Okay. For many young people, during my time as well, actually, when my first job, I just compared the salary. Okay. I'm not comparing what I want to learn. I'm not comparing whether who is my master, who is my so-called mentor. I just compare about the dollar and cent, which is not right. Jack Ma says something so good. For any graduates who just enter into the market,
Yeah.
please do not just compare about the salary. Learn things that we need to learn first.
Follow a good boss.
Yes, equip your so-called brain
Knowledge, yeah.
knowledge, so that in the future you can be more successful.
I think there's another questions.
Yeah. Good evening, Dato. I have
Mhm.
one question for you. Is that I believe that your company is doing the construction work, and then you
Yes.
also have approached the government body to get your project. So I also believe that you know that government body normally have some political situation that maybe you need to change on it. So how does your company adapt to it, no matter about COVID or maybe their political issue or anything? Like how your company adapt to this kind of current changing environment? Thank you.
Oh, good questions. First thing first, being engineer, we have to solve people's problem. We being a contractor, we also have to solve whatever problem faced by the customer. We are being awarded contract. We have to deliver according to the contract. So with that, if let's say end of the day we can deliver the project, then the customer will come back. If let's say we say okay, we are not we say, if we fail, we wouldn't have any new business. So this is so-called happens in whatever countries. Okay, in the past, in the future will be the same. So to me, we are being engineers. Main thing is we must deliver. I hope this answer your questions.
I think there's a couple more questions.
Yeah. What is the biggest problem that you encounter in your life and how you solve it?
Wow.
Very tough exam question.
Not prepared for that though. I will answer it into engineer's perspective. Okay.
Okay.
The biggest problem always is when we have to deliver some projects. Technically, we cannot solve the problem. That is the hardest thing that pressure us. I give an example. If let's say I want to cross a cable, cross ERL, the train going to
Yep.
Airport, crossing the ERL. For ERL, you want to shut down the train, it's a big issue. Involve Malaysia Airlines board, involve ERL, the company, involve all the customers. So this kind of questions, this kind of thing is actually troubling us, okay? Because if we cannot deliver, end of the day we will be penalized. We have to pay penalties. So these are the questions. Of course, how to cover it, recover the what we call how to mitigate is do a proper planning, start from beginning. And this one not only happen to engineers, to our normal life. I do believe we have to do good preparation every day. Myself, I have a habit every morning. I will take out a paper, write down what I need to achieve today.
Yeah.
After that, end of the day, I cross one by one which one I already done it. This is my habit.
Yeah. I saw that your company profile got one value is about self-check. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every day we review ourselves.
Wow, that's good.
Class number 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Then how do you think about, like, for example, there's another question here that asks, you're talking about Malaysian like us, who actually appreciates and also look into appreciation for innovations, but not many people, wants to look into that, they will prefer to buy their technology elsewhere rather than developing their own technologies and inventions.
Well, I will say one word. Diamond will shine. No matter you put in the dark room, in the refill chamber,
Mhm.
diamond will shine. If it is a good product, if it is a good solution, definitely people will
But
appreciate.
how a young startups, many years ago when you were startups, how do young startups at that point actually compete with big companies?
Well, I would say you need to so-called
Innovation.
Or keep trying?
be patient and perseverance.
Yep.
The right attitude is very important.
Mm.
You believe in what you believe. That is something that also come back to entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
There's no definite rules to say doing this you will get a very successful life. No, it's to back to our daily life. Everything, there's no magic, just basic.
Interesting. I think there's
Yeah.
another questions.
Yeah. Does talent people really matter for engineering-based company? Is it good to hire experienced engineers with high salary for research and development like Huawei did?
Well, to newcomer into the labor market, like engineers, like myself, I see it this way. In the market, always they need all type of people, from the low ranking to high ranking. Do not estimate yourself, okay?
Mhm.
But I will advise to all the graduates, be outroverts. Don't hide yourself. In the meeting, don't just be quiet and sit behind the chair. No. Just be brave, voice out your opinions, be outroverts. When you share ideas, people will see you.
Mm.
Be brave.
Be brave.
Yeah.
So when you say that being extrovert, and be brave, so the question asked is like, how can a young engineer spot opportunities for innovation? How do you see that piece, of metal, that you could actually value, and see that as an opportunity?
Well, this is very hard to say.
Mm.
Some people will think that it is a good product, but not other people, not all of the people.
Mhm.
So it still depends. I would say experience to help.
Mhm.
We need to expose ourselves, um, have more experience, then we can appreciate a new product.
Mm.
Being engineers, please do not hesitate to attend exhibitions, read more books,
Yes.
more articles.
Mm.
There you will widen your knowledge.
Yep.
Open up your exposure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I see you. One question is quite interesting.
Yeah, I
It-
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If one day you see a good innovation from a final year project, like says you come to APU and you saw a lot of different ideas,
Yep.
and some you found it very interesting, will you recruit them or ask your research and development team to mimic, to copy? Yeah.
Oh no 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 no. Shouldn't be like that. We honor those intellectual properties. So
Yeah,
okay.
of the
Mm.
students.
Yes, and I do encourage a small startup,
Mm.
and I do encourage students to experience what is business life, entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's no harm.
Mm.
People at age of 40s is where when come to investment, it will cost everything of his entire life. But when you're talking about at the 20s, it's not so much
I see.
manageable. Okay, so I very encourage students to develop the business, incubate, and become one good product to the market.
Okay.
Maybe I think there's one question that's going to ask you, what is your advice, to a student or to our audience that have failed a business again and again? So what is your advice, to our audience?
Thomas Edison, when he developed, invented the boat, he has failed more than 1,000 times. You know,
Yeah.
you believe in yourself. If you trust that you believe that this is a good idea, good solutions, definitely one day it will shine.
I think that's the next question that follow up.
Yeah. How do you maintain the performance of your business and avoid minimal mistakes?
Or all the businessmen, this is not the university level questions. This is the business world questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. To maintain the efficiency, it's not that easy topic. Okay.
Yep.
We're talking about performance of all units, all department, all the individuals, whether you put the right person to the right positions or not. A lot of things. To me, I still improving, and I still find ways to increase the efficiencies. Yeah.
I think the last questions could be quite interesting to ask.
From Jeff, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. He said, "Good evening, sir. How you get out of your depression? What do you do?"
When you
Wow.
fail many times in that years.
Well, I think depression is something that people don't have directions. Okay, I have my great depression during my school days, whereby I do not know what is the purpose of life.
Yeah.
So my teacher helped me. He draw a line. It's a time. At the center, he put one dot. He say, "You are here. In front of you, 1,000,000 years. Behind you, probably 1,000,000 years. That doesn't matter." He draw a circle on the tick. He said, "This is what you can influence. Just make sure that you did the right things." So from there, I get out from my depressions. And then when I doing my business, I know what is the purpose of doing this. Sometimes it's not necessary money. Probably you want to set up a platform for the youngsters, for those people who need it, so you know your directions. Even though you fail, but you know that you fail with a reason. Eventually, you will stand up again.
I think that is a very wise, wisdoms, in that as well. So it is something that we need to take with us, in terms of, I probably just sum it up now. All right. So that we need to be, continue to persevere, continue to look out for opportunities in times, of a crisis, like the Chinese word, 危机, basically has talking about finding the opportunity in times of a crisis. Yeah. And at the same time, you need to actually make sure that you continue to have good directions and also the purpose, that you are going towards in your life as well.
Yes.
So we would just want to sum it up, for tonight that, from Dato Seri Lim's vast experience, as being an engineer, how he has transformed himself, into the entire and embarked into the entire journey of the entrepreneurship. So we all can learn from him, from his past experience. Yeah, so that we can actually take with us, as we go forward in our future as well.
Yeah.
So
Three summary,
yes.
three main point that I get that Dato keep saying, keep mentioning is: first, find the pain point, provide value.
Yeah.
Second, be brave. And then third is attitude.
That's
Yeah.
a good one,
Yes,
Jeremy,
you're right.
that's good. All right. So, okay, so I think we probably wants to just sum it up. So before we want to go, just to stay back, for the attendance, just to keep you in the loop. So don't go yet. All right. We need you to scan our QR code. So, but before that, let us share the two event. All right. You want to share, Jeremy, the first event?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
so this event is Startup Weekend, where if you have idea or if you don't have idea, you can just join. And here we organize the ideation to help you turn your idea into a reality, help
Yes.
you turn your idea into a prototype, and from there
You will go into your long journey of venture building as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in this event, you will also pitch your ideas to several judges that might invest in your idea in future.
Okay, come and join us, all right? And there are cash prize, to be won as well. So this is sponsored, by our sponsor, which is Nusantara Technology. So come and join us, all right? And we look forward to see you in our startup weekend. All right. So we have the second workshops that's organized by the E-Club.
Yeah.
Next, yep.
Yeah, so this event is about, like just now we talk about ideation, but in ideation, you have to turn your idea into something you need to present to your judges or investor. So in order to turn your idea into a prototype, but if you don't have enough time or don't have enough skill to turn it into a prototype, how do you solve it? So here is where it comes, Codeless, which is a platform for you to turn your idea into a prototype without any code. Yeah, this is the
that is interesting for a accountant like myself. I think Jeremy coming from the IT background, I think
Yeah.
I'm very sure that you're better than I do in terms of coding. So maybe I should join as well, on this Saturday.
Yeah.
So come and join us, all right? How to build your minimum viable products using a codeless code. And
Yeah.
you don't need, right, Jeremy? You
Not at
don't
all.
need
Not at
any
all.
coding, right?
Yeah.
Experience. Okay. So I'm really I need a dummy for coding. All right.
Yeah.
So sure that we don't need. All right.
Not at all.
Okay. All right. So come and join us, for the codeless workshop on this Saturday. All right. But last but not least, we will want you to scan your QR code, for your certificate. So you can get your camera ready. All right. You can scan your QR code. So make sure that you scan your QR code so that we can actually get your e-certificate to be sent to you. Okay. We probably wait a while so that everybody online. So those which are audience which are online, you can also scan the QR code. And these recordings will be also made available in the YouTube and also Facebook. So you can always join us, if you find that there are areas and ideas, that you can be able to get from us. Yeah. So at the same time, we just want to encourage you that the Enterprise Wednesdays talk series is conducted every fortnightly. So this is our second series. Stay tuned, with us for the third in the series. So that will be 2 weeks' time from today. So we look forward to see you again in our Enterprise Wednesday at APU, Asia Pacific University. And we are organized by the team of the Enterprise team. And I am your host today, Professor Dr. Angelina, and my co-host.
I'm Jeremy Chong here.
And thank you very much to our speaker for today. And also a lot
Thank you.
of sharings from Dato Seri Lim.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you.
All right. Have a good evening, and we'll see you the next sessions.
Thank you.